Brixton
All
Bully. All right.
right,
What's up?
Right.
Welcome to the NBA morning show with Unanimous Sports Talk. And as you can see, it's a sunny morning behind me in my house, and we're just chilling out here. And today we're going to be talking about a whole list of topics. We had a super eventful free agency, first day of free agency. Obviously, the NBA draft late last week, and obviously the Olympics as well. We're in the believe the quarterfinal stage, going into the semi-final stage. So there's a whole bunch to talk about. Let's start with the Olympics before we jump into anything else. Give us an update, Liam.
So quarterfinals action today. We had USA defeating Spain. It was 43-43 at halftime. It was a pretty even contest. Spain, the current world champions, which is a bit of a surprise. But no, Kevin Durant, he took over, the most unguardable player in the world at the moment. He dropped 29 against Spain. It's proved way too good. The USA progress. Damian Lillard has kind of been struggling a little. Hasn't really been popping off like he has in the NBA. And I think so. The US they face either the winner of the Australia-Argentina game, which is later tonight or later this morning, depending where you're watching from. And yeah, we had Slovenia take down Germany pretty comfortably. Luka Doncic keeps rolling on. He's now 17-0 with the national team, which is seriously impressive. He dropped a Olympic high 48 points in his opening game.
That's
which is
insane. That's
tied for the most ever. And today against Germany, he only had 20 points, but Zoran Dragic stepped up. He had 27 on 11 of 13 shooting. So Slovenia are looking likely to face France. France are currently up against Italy, and that'll make for an interesting semi-final match between Slovenia and France. And yeah, we're hoping for that Australian win. Just to touch on Australia real quick. We lost Aaron Baines due to an injury, which was a bit disappointing. So Jack Landale will have to step up.
Jock Landale.
Some
respect on his name.
Apologies. Patty Mills in Boomer's mode is just a different beast. Joe Ingles playing that second fiddle, and Matisse Thybulle playing some unreal defense. And so hopefully,
mate. What a freak.
He's a freak, mate. Yeah, facts, mate.
So hopefully the Aussies can get up against Italy. Not Italy.
Well, who's
Argentina.
Italy got, man? Oh, who's Argentina got, man?
They have.
Yeah, no one. That's what the short answer is, man.
they got someone. They got someone good. I should know that.
Yeah. Damn. All right. So after Australia beats Argentina tonight, who will they be facing?
They'll be facing the USA in the semi-finals.
Wow, so we got a tough run.
Well, I mean, look. If you extrapolate last time's performance over like the entire existence of the country, mate, you look at the Boomers coming out with a W because I'm pretty sure we watched that game, and Dellavedova, mate, when he was there, killed it. Big performance from Deng Akuth.
Disclaimer: he's not an Australian player for anyone watching. Yeah. I mean, I really like Matisse, man. He's got a vlog series on YouTube. If you want to jump on that, he's been vlogging the Olympic Games kind of process, and he's not Australian at all, but he's still repping the boys.
What? Isn't he actually?
I think he lived here for a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah,
what a good bloke, man.
The man didn't know what shapes were, which was pretty interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he got sent some shapes and he had no idea what they were. Hates Vegemite, which was probably fair enough. A lot of people.
Yeah, I don't eat Vegemite.
Yeah, Vegemite's pretty garbage, man.
Yeah. In other news, we had free agency today, the first day of free agency. Most notable, Lonzo Ball signing a deal 20 seconds after the clock strikes 6 p.m. So
wow,
no tampering there, I believe. But anyways, Alex, I believe you have a list of all the key signings that needs to be mentioned, mate.
Yeah, so you got Jarrett Allen signing with the Cavs with a 5-year deal for $100 million. That's pretty damn good, man. I'll take that money. He's all right.
Board man gets paid.
Yeah,
he's young. He's young.
And then you also pair that with Evan Mobley, the pick 2 for the Cavs. So that front court is set for a long time.
Yeah.
You'd hope so.
And Kevin Love. Yeah, though he's got.
The guy who he got turfed from the USA team. Same
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
That's right.
Wasn't in shape.
Some beef
Yeah.
going on there.
Wasn't in shape, mate. There you go. Lonzo Ball to the Bulls as well. 85 mil, Mike mentioned.
Sign and trade. Love that. Love that deal for the Bulls.
Yeah.
Defensive guard to pair with Zach LaVine. Very nice. I feel like that's we talked about that last offseason. Chicago Bulls potentially getting Lonzo Ball, and it's happened a year later.
Yeah.
And then you got Kelly Olynyk to the Pistons.
Freak.
With 37 mil deal. I'll take that if I was him. I mean, look, man, he's getting paid what 13 mil a year to drop 4 a game. I'll take that.
bit of pick and roll offense with Cade Cunningham. So, no.
Yeah. Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks with the Knicks. Both of them a 3-year deal. Nerlens with the 32 mil contract and Burks with a 30 mil contract.
Were they that's their new signings, right?
They are,
re-signing.
yeah.
They
re-signed.
Oh, they
sorry.
re-signed.
Yeah.
But
I don't know
Alec
what this
Burks,
next
wasn't
team
he no, that's Trey Burke, my bad. No, don't worry.
Yep.
Mike Conley with the Jazz. He's already there. 68 mil, 3-year deal.
Mm.
He was playing well this year. I mean, playoff wise wasn't like.
It's God.
He took a pretty crazy pay cut, because I'm pretty sure when he signed his initial contract with Memphis, 5 years ago now, I think it was actually the largest contract in NBA history at the time. So he's taken a huge pay cut to help the Jazz out. He's already secured the bag, so it's a good bloke move from Mike Conley.
What, he's trying to win a chip there or something?
I mean, the Jazz look good until playoff time.
Yeah.
That's right, mate.
Like always.
Yeah. Tim Hardaway re-signing with the Mavs, 4-year, 72 mil deal.
Good signing.
Yeah, Cameron Payne with the Suns, 19 mil 3-year deal.
Very cheap. Very cheap.
Yeah, I know, man. And Duncan Robinson with the Heat with a 5-year, 90 mil deal. Bit stiff, bro. I wouldn't pay that for that Jimmy Neutron looking mother.
No, I think he's very important to the Miami Heat. You know, I think they went crazy today. They went crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah, Lowry as well.
Yeah, sign and trade.
Yeah.
Which is big. He was probably one of the biggest likely movers in the free agency period, and that, you know, they got him on a sign and trade.
So you know,
he is old. And it also looks likely, I think.
What's his deal? 3-year, 90 mil.
That's the one.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through all of them now.
I feel like that's all the important signings at the moment. I believe Kawhi Leonard is still a free agent. But let's jump into this first segment here. Talking about the free agency period, who were your favorite signings from the free agency period? Who do you think will make the biggest impact, and what team? You know, what impact will they have for their team?
Now look, I missed this one, but yeah, Devontae Graham signing with the Pels on a 4-year, 47 mil deal. I feel like that is a freaking steal. Nice replacement for Lonzo Ball. You're looking at, what was he averaging? Like 7-8 assists a game. He's like roughly 15, 20 points a game. I reckon for around 10 mil a year, that's pretty good. I'll take that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Pair that up with Brandon Ingram, Zion.
Yeah,
it's
Ingram.
It's a nice.
Yeah. I mean, look, we all know Lonzo was sort of he was shooting like okay, but he's a bit timid with the ball, not like Melo. So I mean, yeah, I feel like he'll be a good addition to the Pels for that money.
Look, for me, I'm going to give you one a little bit off center. One AP didn't mention. Daniel Tice, he signed a 4-year, $36 million deal for the Rockets. And I think
what?
No, I think he's going to be really valuable for the Rockets. I think they got an absolute steal there. But for me, you know, Jarrett Allen re-signing for the Cavs on that 5-year, $100 million deal is a big deal. But I think pairing him up with the number 2 pick, as I mentioned earlier, Evan Mobley, I think that's the Cavs really setting like their front court for the next, you know, who knows how long. And that's a really good way. You know, they've drafted guards with the top 5 picks for the last 3-4 years. They got Colin Sexton, and I think the Cavs are finally building something there. But that's one I liked. And Alex Caruso on a 4-year deal, $37 million to the Bulls. I think the Bulls, getting Caruso and Lonzo together. I think it's some good work there from the Bulls.
Yeah, breaking news as well.
Yep.
They actually unretired 23 to give to Caruso.
Mike, what are you saying? What was the
my favorite signing? It's actually kind of a two-pronger, but
Okay.
we'll start obviously re-signing Chris Paul. The Suns, pretty good move. But my favorite move is actually super underrated, I reckon. JaVale McGee signing with the Suns, providing that interior defense that they were missing against the Bucks. We saw DeAndre Ayton get clapped throughout the last 2 or 3 games of the NBA Finals, and now they bring in a big interior defender who has championship pedigree. He's a block machine, and I feel like he's what they need. Their kind of perimeter defense has been pretty good with those guards, and CP3 with the IQ strats and all that. But now they have a guy to bring in if they need defense, which is what they needed in those finals. So
I massively agree with you there, Mike. I think it was a $5 million 1-year deal for JaVale McGee, which is a great addition. But you mentioned the Chris Paul one.
Wait, 5-year $1 million deal.
No, other way around.
Oh, okay.
1 year, $5 million.
I was like, wait, what?
But yeah, you mentioned the Chris Paul deal. A 4-year deal to a 36-year-old, $120 million. I reckon that's a little bit overs for the man. He's going to be 40, earning $30 million a season. That's,
man. If I was him, I would have easily taken that, man. He's pretty much good for one more season.
I mean, he is a guard. He's never really relied on his athleticism.
That's true.
But you're right. I mean, 30 mil if he's at the tail end of his career, and you're paying 30 mil for like a Isaiah Thomas type player. I don't think that's worth it.
But I mean, did you see Isaiah Thomas dropping 65 at that summer thing?
Did see that.
Or whatever.
I did see that.
Yeah, I was. I mean, look, that just shows how good actual NBA players are compared to the average person.
For sure.
He's like 5'8",
and I just wanted to touch on the Lonzo Ball signing as well. Obviously, I personally wanted Lonzo Ball sign and trade to the Charlotte Hornets. They could have made that work. Devontae Graham did go to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
So they could have very much did the old sign and trade strat, swap guards there, Lonzo for Devontae Graham, and gotten the 3 Ball brothers together. I think LiAngelo is playing for the Hornets Summer League this Summer League, and would have been good to see the Ball brothers together. It would have been a feel-good story, just like Giannis bringing his brothers to the Bucks, mate. I think that the Ball brothers could have done that.
But 85 mil, man, for 4 years. Is Lonzo worth that, man?
I mean, I think it could be. I think it could be. Surround him with a fantastic shooter in Zach LaVine. I reckon the Bulls are building something there. I think just need to sort out a few front court issues, and they got Patrick Williams, big Patty Dub, playing for the Chicago Bulls. I think he picked 4 last year, so
he's been pretty good. I mean, nothing insanely special, but he's been solid.
Yeah.
What's his name? Kobe White as well, mate.
Well, the signing of Lonzo is an interesting one as well, though, because that kind of pushes Cody White back to the bench. You'd imagine.
Yeah, but he's pretty undersized, so
Yeah, he is defensively kind of a liability, unlike Lonzo.
This is true.
Yeah, can't have Zach LaVine and Kobe White on the floor, both being garbage defense.
And they add Alex Caruso as well. So you've kind of they've got that
another defender.
They've got that backcourt really short up there with Lonzo, Zach LaVine, and then you got Caruso and Kobe White off the bench.
That's true. Well, and I mean, Lonzo has. Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, you go.
Lonzo, I mean, he has been working on his shot as well. Like, he's been getting consistently better at the 3 every year. Obviously, he hasn't been taking as many. I mean, he has taken a lot, actually. Yeah, I think he had more attempts than Trae Young.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was taking a lot. So, good on him, man.
Yeah. Unlike Lonzo's a good plug-and-play guy. Like, if you just need him to play defense, he'll play defense for you. If you need him to run the point like heavy, then he'll do that. If you need him just to sit in the corner and shoot 8 threes a game, he can do that too.
Yeah.
He's shown that. Like, he's been super. I feel like they didn't fully utilize him at the Pelicans just because they have Zion and Brandon Ingram. He was kind of like the third guy.
Yeah, a lot of young sort of talent that they need to cater for.
Yeah, so he wasn't really like, we saw Zion running the point tons last
Yeah,
year.
what was up with that? I mean,
even though
he
you
was
have
doing
Lonzo.
alright.
Yeah, legit. Any other free agent signings you guys want to talk about, or shall we move on?
Can
What
quickly
else?
touch on just two big star deals. You had SGA for OKC signed a 5-year, $172 million extension, and AP's man Trey Young signed a
Right.
5-year, $207 million extension.
Underpaid, bro. Underpaid, mate. he easily
Young
deserves more, man.
Young stars getting locked up. Who do you think the biggest signing was this free agency period? Chuck it in the chat, chuck it in the comments below, and we'll make a video about it. Jumping into our next topic, obviously, the Golden State Warriors haven't done too much splash-wise in terms of free agency. They did sign Otto Porter Jr., but other than that, nothing crazy. They did not choose to re-sign, at least yet, Kelly Oubre. What are your predictions for the Warriors this year, Liam?
Look, I've got high hopes for the Warriors. They're welcoming back the best two-way shooting guard in the league in Klay Thompson. It might take them a few months to get back into things, but you add the Splash Bros back together in that backcourt. James Wiseman has another off season. You got Draymond Green who's working on his craft with the US team. And whether they bring back Kelly Oubre Jr. or continue Andrew Wiggins playing the three, I think the Warriors are really building together. They also had pick 7 and pick 14, where they chose not to trade either of those picks, signing Jonathan Kuminga, who many people thought slid down a bit in the draft. He's an 18-year-old, 6'8", huge ceiling, averaged 16 points, 7 rebounds. However, did shoot 26% from three, which is a little bit alarming going onto the Warriors team. And then they also picked up Moses Moody at pick 14, who's kind of like could develop into a 3-and-D kind of wing guy. So I think the Warriors are really setting up for the future nicely. They're really adding to what they have, and they've still got a lot of moves that they can make in this offseason.
Is that the right move though? Setting up for the future. If they're Clay and Steph, probably have maybe 5 good years left, maybe, and 2 first-round picks. Do you really need to use those on guys who have to spend time developing, especially since you got pretty much championship or bust aspirations? Making the playoffs is not really a win for them next season.
Agreed.
And I personally feel like they still could trade their picks, like the players they picked, but personally feel like they should have traded those picks, even future picks. Who cares what the next 2 years of first round picks are if you're going to be winning the finals every year? So definitely feel like they could have even James Wiseman traded him away for a big superstar.
Yeah, I mean, even Kelly Oubre, like, what did he do?
Also, I mean, Kelly Oubre is now a free agent, so the Warriors.
I mean, they should get rid of him.
Like, I think he could go.
I mean, look, he's pretty much like worse at shooting than Clay, and he doesn't play defense. So, like, why would you need him on that team?
Yeah. What's your record prediction for the Warriors this year, Liam?
Look, I'm going to give, I reckon, a 48-win season for the Warriors. I reckon
so they're playoff, man.
Well, look, you look at Steph Curry's season last year. He was an MVP candidate. He was balling out there. You add Clay back to that. They add Otto Porter Jr., who has only played 14 games and 28 games in his last 2 seasons, respectively. So he's signing on a veteran minimum, which that really helps them in terms of cap space. And I think he's kind of that. They lost Kent Bazemore, who was a 35% three-point shooter. Otto Porter Jr. is a 40%. So they're making improvements there. But for me, I think they need a backup point guard or shooting guard. So one of Danny Green, JJ Redick, or Avery Bradley would be great additions.
They would be for sure.
And then they could also try and lure Marcus Gasol away from the Lakers, or if Kevin Love's bought out of his contract, I think he'd be a great fit. Would be a great fit for the Warriors.
No, he wouldn't, mate.
How about you, AP? What are your predictions?
I think Liam's win prediction's pretty solid. Around between under 50, over 40 sort of number. And I'm looking at them making the playoffs. I mean, look, they definitely turned it up towards the second half of the season last year because the first few games they had like a really bad win streak. Kelly Oubre missed his first 30 attempts for three.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
so
even Wiggins combined for that.
yeah. So I mean, look, man. I mean, they did take a while to get their rhythm going, but once they did, they definitely found it. And it was Steph at the helm, doing magical things, dropping 50, 60 a game, and some of them to try will them into a playoff spot.
For sure. I definitely agree, especially with Clay coming back. If he's even 80, 90% of what he was, that takes so much pressure off of Steph. Like we saw when they were both playing together, it'd be one or the other would pop off.
Yeah, it was just lethal.
From anywhere too. Steph can finish, he can shoot from three, mid range. Same with Clay. Clay is pretty aggressive when he drives. So win wise, I think I'm looking at a 45 to 47 wins this season. Just under, I'd say they're a fourth seed. They're a fourth seed. You obviously have the Clippers, you have the Lakers coming back with Westbrook, and obviously the Suns NBA final lists, and then the Jazz are always freaks in the regular season. So those guys will be fighting for the top four seeds, and I think the Warriors will slide in at the bottom. But they know, they don't have to win that much in the regular season. They're probably going to focus on keeping Clay and Steph healthy for the playoffs. Since they've been so injured.
That's right.
But yeah, tell us your Warriors predictions for this season in the comments, and yeah, we'll reply to all our comments.
I see you in the chat there, bro. I got you.
Shout out MP. Yeah. Anyways, next topic of discussion: the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, they finished with a pretty poor record this year. 23 wins after, obviously, it was a shorter season, 72-game season. Shorter season, and they had D'Lo and Cat together. They have Anthony Edwards, who was a Rookie of the Year kind of candidate. People thought he was ahead of Melo. Melo obviously didn't play as many games. But anyways, they're in a bit of limbo right now. 23 games with a young core who is getting paid a lot of money. What do you guys think that they should do? And what do you think that will happen to them this year?
Honestly, have they ever been good? Nah, seriously, mate. They had, at one stage, they had who? Wiggins, Cat, and Butler. And they couldn't make it work then. So, I mean, what can they do now to do anything? They're pretty much useless, mate. I mean, unless they put a lot of, time into surrounding Edwards with some good pieces. Yeah.
I mean, look, for me, looking at the Timberwolves team, they had 23 wins last season, and you'd go to the draft. However, the Timberwolves had no draft picks in this year's draft, which, in terms of front office failing, that's right up there with, some of the worst moves that, a front office can make. They're a struggling team, and they've got no draft picks. You've got Cat and D'Lo. They're both 25. You'd say they're entering their prime. So hopefully, they can finally get that chemistry going a bit better. They're very offensive heavy. I think the Timberwolves were up there in terms of scoring output, but defensively, they are just horrible.
Yeah.
So for me, when I looked at the team, they needed a power forward, and that's what they went out and got today. They got a Taurean Prince in a trade for Ricky Rubio. And Ricky Rubio balled out today in the Olympics. Ricky Rubio dropped 38 against USA.
Taurean Prince's combined points in his history is 38, mate.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't need offense. They need a defensive big man to help out Cat.
He's not that big though, is he?
He's
slotted into the small forward. I always thought he was a 3.
Honestly, bro, he looks like Jay Crowder, mate.
A bit of a 3-4 type operator.
Torian Prince. Interesting. Going back to the whole Ben Simmons topic. I always thought Ben Simmons should have signed with the Timberwolves, you know. They have like Cat and Ben. They're obviously friends. We've all seen the clip where they're playing COD together, and they have a game. Cat has a game the next day against the Hawks, and Ben says he has plenty of time to keep playing. And so they have a relationship there. So why not bring him in? Bring one of the boys in. Trade away Anthony Edwards. I think that's a win-win scenario. Ben Simmons brings that All NBA Defensive Player of the Year level defense. But Ben Simmons is a bit of a rock star kind of guy. He probably won't want to live in Minnesota, Loki. Anyways, what's one move you think they should make, AP, mate?
Probably just get rid of bloody D'Lo, man. like he's like a really really streaky scorer. He's never really consistent. Like I know he's good, but can he consistently give you that 20 odd a game that you need? And he was considered like superstar level when he was at the Nets, right? He was doing magical things there. He was close, like borderline.
Playoffs.
Yeah, borderline. There was that game where he got him back from like a 28-point deficit in the fourth or something to win. And I mean that's pretty damn good, but we didn't see any of that sort of stuff this year. So I'm thinking he's guard, man, and I'm thinking they need to get rid of him, and they need to add some defense, like you said.
For sure. How about you, Lamb? What's one move they should make?
Look, it's a really tough one. In terms of free agents remaining, there's Dennis Schroeder, who's still, potentially available, who could be an interesting addition to that backcourt to help D'Lo out. I think we're talking about defense, man.
Defense. Mate, what do you do? What do you do for the Lakers, man?
So, I mean,
defensively,
you got to look at his OKC work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Timberwolves
fan.
But no, I think the Timberwolves.
You lost, mate. You just can't do anything, mate, if you're a Timberwolves fan.
Yeah, sorry. You're kind of stuck here. Your team's a bit of a dumpster fire, but I'm telling you, all you need to do is trade for Ben Simmons, get Anthony Edwards out of there. He's a good kid, but you don't need more scorers. You got D'Lo and you got Cat. Get Ben Simmons in there, the facilitator, the defender. He'll ruin your culture, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Win-loss prediction for this year?
They're going back to back, man.
I'm gonna drop at 23 again, if that. I think the Timberwolves are probably in for another year of pain. I think. I'm thinking that as well. Like they haven't done anything, so like how can they like improve their record? If every other team's like becoming better, they can't. Back to back. Well, I think just in terms of one thing, like Cat is their best player. However, I think it was two or 3 years ago where he's voted by the league GMs. It's like the player that people would build their team around. So maybe he needs to do more. Or I know he had a really tough year last year. Mentally, he had a lot of stuff off the court. So maybe maybe having that this kind of off season might do wonders for the Timberwolves potentially. But there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary out here, and I'm gonna say the Timberwolves, they slot into the 10th seed with 37 wins.
Right.
The reason I say this is, like you said, Cat had a lot of off the court issues. Anthony Edwards will be getting better in his second year.
Yep.
D'Lo, hopefully, a year in this system, they'll get used to it. More chemistry. Chemistry is a big thing. We've seen teams just pop out of nowhere just because of chemistry. Like the Jazz, regular season, they have great chemistry. I mean, they're garb in the playoffs, but like, and the teams that I'm looking that are below the Timberwolves, you have teams like the Rockets. Where are the Rockets going? They're garb. The Thunder, I mean, they could be really good. We'll have to see what Kemba does. Kings, garb. Spurs, garb. So Timberwolves easily could be 10th seed. So yeah. Any final thoughts on the Timberwolves?
I think we'll wrap it up there, man. That's all the time they deserve, anyway.
Let's move it on. All right, comment
Yeah.
down below what you think the Timberwolves should do this offseason. All right, our next team that we're going to discuss, we're going to talk about the 76ers, but don't think we're going to have time. So sorry, 76ers fan, that will be for another video. Let's talk about the Mavericks with Luka Doncic. So this year, the Dallas Mavericks have done not that much. They've re-signed Tim Hardaway Jr. and Boban, and obviously they still have that core that went 42 and 30 last year. Couldn't beat the Clippers again. What do you think is on the books for the Clippers this year, Liam?
So they added Reggie Bullock in free agency today on a 3-year, $30 million deal. And he's not a big name signing that many people expected Dallas to go out and make, but they used their cap space in re-signing Tim Hardaway and Boban. I actually don't think that's a Boban took up about two.
Yeah.
Anyway, I actually think it's a good move for Dallas. I think you give that core that went 42 and 30. That's a pretty positive record.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the bubble, Luka hit that insane game winner in Game 6, I believe it was. Still wasn't enough. But I think that this team growing together, it's Luka's team now. Everyone knows that. Doncic is just on a whole nother level. He's top 5 player in the league. And he's 21 or something like that, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think, you add Reggie Bullock, who's a bit of a sharpshooter, shoots 41% from 3. So you're kind of adding more weapons. They let go of Josh Richardson. He went to the Celtics. And in return, they got Moses Brown, who, as a Celtics fan, I was actually pretty excited for. However, he now goes to Dallas. He averaged 8.6 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 block in only 21 minutes a game. So Dallas are adding a really good addition into that front court to, Kristaps can now play that stretch 4 properly, I believe.
For sure. And they also added Sterling Brown, who's another defensive wing. So I think the Mavs are taking. I think they watched our video last year. Add 3-and-D guys around Luka. So you obviously have their core. Tim Hardaway was great for them last year. Kristaps. And then you have, Boban and the other boys. So adding some 3-and-D wings, that's all you really need around Luka, honestly. Just do what the Lakers and past LeBron teams have done for LeBron. Surround him with shooters, surround him with defenders. Luka's probably not going to put that much effort into defense, but you're seeing what he's doing on every single stage.
I mean,
Olympics, playoffs.
He's crazy.
He's killing people, man.
And it's just his ability to just select what he wants to do. He has the option to just do whatever. And defenders are scrambling. He pretty much always gets the best shot off, or allows for the best shot to get pulled every play.
He can also just make ridiculous shots on top of that too.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just got every sort of skill set you need as a player.
Yeah, and everything that they could do cap-wise, because obviously they have to save some money. They're probably going to have to give Luka. Have they given him an extension? I don't think they have. They're probably going to have to give him 200 mil 5-year contract. So just like Trae Young got. So
yeah, hopefully it's 1 mil less or something.
Yeah. So Luka is going to be a free agent end of next year.
Yeah. So he's going to get re-signed. He's going to get a huge contract. Probably
Mark
was
Cuban's
waiting
not
for them
letting
to.
him go, mate.
Yeah, no way. Probably waiting to add some pieces before they re-sign him, so they have some cap space. So yeah, I mean the Mavs. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's just all dependent on Luka, really, how much he kind of keeps getting better.
Gladys to the gulag. That's right.
Facts.
I mean, Luka will continue to get better, but I think it's really up to Kristaps as the number 2 man on this team. I think he really needs to figure out exactly what his role is. He openly came out and said after the playoff loss that he felt that he was being a bit misplayed, that he was, only just a 3-point shooter kind of thing, and he feels like he can add more to the team. I think, if Kristaps use him in the post, use him in the mid range a bit more.
Mate, he can't post up, bro. He as if he thinks that.
But he's a pretty agile dude, I reckon.
I think he only shot 40% from the post.
Yeah, you'd rather him shoot a 3.
Well, that's what I think. Just Kristaps really needs to figure out exactly his role in that team, and that's kind of that'll really get the the wheels in motion for Dallas.
Yeah, and it must have just been a big adjustment for him going from. Obviously, he didn't really play that much 2 years ago
Mm.
because of his injury. But you're looking at Kristaps, who was the star in New York, and now he's like less than second fiddle at the Mavs. Like it's just
Yeah, like
Luca
Hardaway's
number
itching for that
one.
spot.
Yeah, exactly. And Kristaps just hasn't been playing up to standard. Hasn't been able to
That's
get
right.
into rhythm. So I feel like you're pretty spot on there, Liam. But still, I think the success of the Mavericks is however far Luca can take them in the
Mm.
playoffs. Because Kristaps in the playoffs, garbage. Um,
No doubt.
Everyone else is solid, but yeah, Kristaps is garbage in the playoffs. So
Because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we could look at Tim Hardaway Jr. As you mentioned, signed that 4-year, $74 million extension. In the first round against the Clippers, he averaged 17, and shot 40% from three. So if you, as AP likes to say, if you extrapolate that out over a whole season,
Yeah.
you've actually got a pretty solid big three. If you will.
Yeah, I mean,
if
you have
Hardaway
if
is
Kristaps is
consistent.
good, but he's
Yeah,
not.
that as well.
for sure,
And
I
more
don't know.
minutes into Boban.
I
as
mean,
well.
look, Kristaps, like, he was getting less rebounds than, like, bloody.
Luka.
Yeah, oh, yeah, and like, a lot of players, half his size that are on the same team. What do you average, like, 4 or
That could just
5?
be the system, though. Like they
Yeah,
want
that's
Luca to get rebounds so that he can fast break and
yeah.
do whatever he wants. So I don't
That's
know.
true.
Kristaps still needs to just make his shots, man. You're 7'8", 7'12", and
That's like
you
8 feet.
can't shoot a corner three
Yeah.
consistently. Like no one should be bothering you on that shot on any shot
Yeah, I
really.
mean, he's taller than KD, and KD
Yeah,
wouldn't be phased.
yeah. He's legit like 10 feet taller than KD, and he
Yeah.
But
can't even do what KD does.
Legit, man.
But I mean, Kristaps has developed that crazy 30-foot three that where he can just pull up kind of from.
Yeah, I mean, his shot does look pretty nice. It's just,
Mm.
it's just like, where the hell was that in the playoffs? So, like, you know what I mean? Because he's
I mean,
complaining about being like used for threes when like that's legit
Mm.
all I see him doing anyway, like normally. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be not up to Luca, but a bit of a Luca and coaching decision in terms of how they can get that right balance.
Mhm.
That Kristaps still feels respected like as a star player, and that he is also there to play his role to support Luca.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sure,
I mean, he
man.
should be happy. Like, guys are getting played off the court because they can't shoot threes. So, and especially being a big man, especially if you're not a Jokic type guy who's like a crazy passer or an Embiid who can post up consistently. Um, what else are you supposed to do on the court
Yeah. That's right.
offensively? Like, I don't know what he like. Kristaps can't post up, too skinny.
Yeah.
Can't
He
ball
weighs like
handle,
he weighs
too
less
garb.
than bloody
Than Isaiah
IT,
Thomas.
mate. Yeah.
What are your predictions for the win-loss this year for the Mavs? What are you thinking? What seed?
I reckon I'm going to put Dallas right up there with the Warriors. I reckon that Luka is going to continue to prove that he's a top 5 player in this league. He's going to put the team on his back, and definitely I reckon you can see him really pushing the Mavs up that Western Conference overall standings to around 48 wins.
48. That's
48 wins. Okay.
respectable.
AP, how about you?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe even 50 plus, mate. If pause, because I mean, I don't mind pausing this. Like, me and him share an injury bond, mate. So, yeah. So, anyone who's torn an ACL before, I feel for. I know, like, it's pretty hard to get back into it properly, and I think if he's got the willpower, he can definitely make a larger impact on that team, and I see them potentially winning 50 plus games. Luka's been, unstoppable in the Olympics. Hopefully he can like translate some of that skill back into the NBA, even though he was already a freak. You never know.
I agree with AP. I reckon 50 plus wins, and I reckon they're a 3 seed in the Western Conference.
Wow.
The Luke is getting better. They're surrounding him with 3-and-D talent. Like if I'm looking at the other teams, obviously you have the Warriors, but I've already said they're a 4 seed. You have the Clippers, like the people who I think will be above them: the Clippers, Lakers, and that's probably it. Like they're probably the only teams who are like going to consistently beat Luca. Um, Trailblazers have just been garb. Like they just
Yeah.
can't be consistent for some reason. Um,
Mhm.
so I mean, they could be in the top three, but I'm still going to bet on Luca here and say that the Mavs are a 3 seed, especially with the new signings. And yeah, comment down below. What do you think the Mavs should do? And if they've done it, if you like what they've done, what do you think their record's going to be this year? Yeah,
Will Luca win MVP?
I hope he
yeah,
does, man.
I reckon he will.
Under
3.
Trey, but yeah. No, yeah, seriously though, I hope he actually wins it. I mean, it'd be
Uh,
good to see.
yeah, legit. I think he will, unless Giannis wins it again.
I mean, he could.
Um,
Giannis is nuts.
all right. And the final topic: the Miami Heat this offseason, this free agency have made some big splashes, signing PJ Tucker, NBA champion, Kyle Lowry, NBA champion, and just making moves to make the team better to try and redeem that finals loss in the bubble a year ago. Um, what do you think? Do you like what the Heat have done first of all, and what do you think that they should do on top of that? Let's start off with AP this time.
Ooh, I mean, look, I'm liking what they did by getting Kyle Lowry there. Look, I mean,
Mm,
Jimmy is like he is a point guard-ish kind of guy, but he's not really like a true point guard player. Like,
yeah.
um, his passes aren't the best. I know Lowry's definitely better at that role than he is.
Mm,
Lowry might be old, but I mean, he can play really, really good defense, man, for his size. Um, and I mean, I know the Heat didn't really lack that defense with Bam and Jimmy there already, but adding to it certainly can't hurt. Um, what
yeah,
else we got?
100%. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's
especially PJ Tucker is like one of the best corner three
yeah,
shooters in the league,
that's
and
right.
he's an insane defender.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Mm.
he wasn't giving KD trouble, but he kind of was a little bit. Like, you can't really give KD trouble. Like, he just tried to annoy the
Yeah.
guy.
And he was giving book trouble and stuff as
That's
well.
right. Yeah.
How about you, Liam? What are you thinking?
Look, I think it's an incredible opening day of free agency for the Heat. I reckon they're right up there in the top 2 seeds in the East. You got their starting five looking at Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robertson, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, Bam Adebayo. That is a menacing starting five, and you got Tyler Hero coming off the bench. Um, that's looking good if you ask me. They got Jimmy Butler, who's looking likely to sign on to a 4-year, $184 million max extension later in the week. So they've really set up nicely here. You know, they got Duncan Robinson, he re-signed as well, 5-year deal. Kyle Lowry, 3-year deal, friends with Jimmy Butler. And look, you know, they got PJ Tucker for an absolute steal, you know, for $7.5 million a season. You know, you're adding that veteran. He's just won a championship. And, you know, I think for me that the Heat are going to bounce back in a big way and probably see some bubble-like ball from the Heat next season.
That's right.
I'm pretty surprised that he got signed for so little. I know he's old, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
he's a starter in a championship team,
Mm.
and I feel like he's worth. He probably could have got a 1-year deal for that amount of money that he got over 2 years. So, a bit of a head scratcher for me, to be honest. Not sure why they didn't. No one else would have paid him a little bit more, especially
Yeah.
someone like Milwaukee, who could have like definitely used him
Like,
back.
re-signed him.
sort of-
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
re-signed him and then run
Yeah.
it back. Especially
Mm.
after winning the finals.
Yeah, and he
Um,
probably would have re-signed for the same money, right? Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm
Well, I mean, it's an interesting one. Like, obviously, the Heat and they've done a lot in this offseason, clearly, you know, kind of having all of this to fall on day one of free agency. And, you know, PJ Tucker's obviously bought into that and believes that the Heat are probably the team to be on in the East this season, you know, to contend against the Nets and contend against his former team, the Bucks. You know, will we see the Celtics kind of bounce back? Jason Tatum's only going to get better. What are the 76ers going to do? You know, the East is getting competitive in those top 5 teams. You got the Hawks as well, who surprised so many this season. You know,
and the
so
Nets,
I
of
think
course.
maybe PJ Tucker is making that move to make the Heat the kind of the team in the East.
And Washington, got way better adding Kyle Kuzma. Um,
They
What?
also just
Sweet.
a bit of breaking news for you a few hours ago. Spencer Dinwiddie, I think, is signing for the Wizards. I believe I
I
heard
think
that.
you're right. Yeah, they need a point guard to replace good old Russell Westbrook in Washington. So
That's
Mm.
right, mate.
good to hear.
Also,
But anyways, Mavs, the Miami Heat. I'm gonna take a little bit of a different stance here. I'm thinking that have they been too short-sighted with their signings? Obviously, they re-signed Jimmy Butler to a 4-year, I think $140 million deal, something around those
180.
180. Wow. And then now
it's on
you're
max.
signing Kyle Lowry. He's pretty old too.
Yeah,
And you're signing him to let me just double check my numbers here. 3-year, $90 million deal.
that's pretty cheap, bro. I reckon.
I mean, but you're locking yourself in for 3 years. Is this team too old? That's my
Ah,
concern. Jimmy Butler's getting up there in age. He's 30s. Lowry's in his 30s. And it's not
PJs.
they have their young PJ's in his 30s. They have their young core, with Nunn, Hero, Bam, Robinson. They're going to be great, but yeah, are they too old? Because I don't look, that team isn't winning the finals. I'm sorry, Heat fans, if you're watching this, that team's not winning the finals. Lowry,
That's right.
Butler, Duncan Robinson, PJ Tucker, and Bam, that's not winning the finals. No, that's not even beating the Nets. That's not beating the
Ooh,
Nets. That
Wow.
might not
Wow.
even beat Boston.
mate. You're doing them dirty, mate. They could, mate.
Let's just be
Yeah,
real.
look, if I'm the Heat, I'm pretty excited about that. I reckon they've made two really great additions in Lowry and PJ. Obviously, that Lowry and Butler connection. I think they're both fantastically defensively. We know what Bam can do defensively. So kind of that building that defense first team is almost we saw the Bucks do it in adding Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Giannis, obviously one of the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah.
So kind of that defense wins championships mentality to combat the offense heavy Nets. And
Yeah, but
Celtics
let me
on
read
one.
this out. If they're so defensive heavy,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
Their playoff series against the Bucks.
Mm.
Obviously, the first game was close, OT. They won by 2, but then
Yep.
after that, game 2, 132 to 98, 113 to 84, 120 to 103. Bucks blew them out the last 3 games of that series. Is adding Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker from the Bucks. I guess that's a
And
decent.
stealing the Bucks' best player.
Is that enough to put them in the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference? I don't think so, to be honest. So I'm pretty pessimistic on the Miami Heat. They could have, I feel like they're just a bubble phenomenon.
Wow.
Oh,
Bubble phenomenon. They haven't done anything since. 6th in the Eastern Conference, swept the first round of the playoffs. Adding Kyle Lowry from the Toronto Raptors, I believe the Toronto Raptors didn't even make the playoffs.
I mean, don't forget also, they had like a really small break from the last season's end to this season. I mean, it showed with like the Lakers as well, like a lot of injuries there, a lot of sore legs. So, I mean, hopefully adding, Lowry, who's like a nice leader, as well as Jimmy, will help develop the young guys again, mate. Give them that discipline, you know what I mean? Because I feel like Tyler Hero and all their young guys were kind of lacking. Bam kind of slowed down towards the end of the season. So I'm sitting with them threes.
And I think one big thing that we're forgetting to consider with talking about these playoff predictions is the play-in tournament will be coming back next season. So are the Heat good enough to win the one game against like a 10th seed Bulls, 10th seed Hornets?
I think so.
I don't think they
Maybe
need
not.
to worry about that being a top 3 seed in the East.
Oh, you're dreaming, mate. Top 3
I'm telling
seed.
you. I'm telling you. I'm excited. I'm excited about what the Heat have built in this first day of free agency.
So what are your predictions for the win-loss this season, Liam?
I'm going to a 50+ win season
What?
for the Heat. Jimmy Butler, we saw what he did against the Lakers. I think he's going to make this team his. He's going to lead from the front. Kyle Lowry, absolute champion player in the NBA, showed what he could do in that finals run with Kawhi. He's going to play that second fiddle to the kind of similar-ish player in Jimmy Butler. I'm not saying Jimmy and Kawhi are the same player. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
this guy, mate.
Bam Adebayo, he's only going to get better. He's still super young. And watch Duncan Robinson have probably I'm going to put him up there in the most improved kind of category for next season.
Nah, mate, he's garbage. Nah, he's good. All right, AP, what do you and playoffs, Liam? What do you think that they're going to do in the playoffs? Another first round sweep?
Look, I reckon they're either losing in the semi or the conference final. I think if they come up against the Nets, it depends where the Nets are in comparison, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Nets. In terms of the 76ers or Bucks, I reckon they can give them a really good run for their money. And we don't know what Celtics are going to do. I think they need to make some moves. I don't think Tatum and Brown on their own are good enough to beat this Heat team as it currently stands.
How about you, AP, mate?
I'm gonna go a bit less bold than Liam here. I do agree that the team is a lot more stacked, but 50+ is a big ask. I'm looking at mid 40s, mid 40 win team. It's whether or not they do well in the playoffs, really. But yeah, like Mike said, I don't see them beating the Nets. Like, they're not a better team than the Nets, because no one on that team is like lethal offensively. You know what I mean? And you still need someone like that on your team, I feel like.
Yeah, like a closer.
Yeah,
I guess Jimmy Butler's kind of a closer.
Yeah, but he's all right. But 20, what does he average? 20 a game? 20 something a game?
Yeah.
That's not a closer, bro. Closer gets you like high 20s.
Depends when they do it.
Yeah, it does, but I mean, look, man.
Like your garb in closing time, man.
Yeah, if he does an average high 20s.
Yeah. I think, look, I know I was kind of roasting the Heat a little bit, but I'm gonna say a high 40 win season. Obviously we're gonna have 82 games again this year, so that might inflate the numbers a bit. But yeah, I'm going high 40s, but I think that they'll either get swept the first or second round.
Oh, what, mate?
No, they won't get swept. They'll lose in
mate.
6. They're gonna lose in 6. They're gonna lose in 6 to the Milwaukee Bucks again.
Oh, that would suck, man, if that happened.
Yeah, and Giannis is gonna get revenge on PJ for leaving him.
Oh, mate.
You're a dog, mate.
Give him the old GG, mate.
Yeah, so look, I don't think they're a top 3 seed. I definitely think that that's firmly in the hands of the Sixers, the Nets, and the Bucks. And then with the 4th seed either being, or maybe the Heat are a 4th seed. I'm gonna go Heat 4th seed, 47 wins. Swear, they're gonna lose in 6 in the second round. Quote me on that. I'm right. It's gonna happen. Trust me.
That's fair, I guess. But we'll see, man. The Heat sometimes do some crazy shit, man. Didn't they, they did some, they beat, like, they always just beat Boston, like, every time. Every time they verse them.
They beat that number 1 seed Bucks team in the bubble, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the bubble's different, though. Tyler Hero's just a bubble player. He's been garbage since Jason Tatum alluded to it in the Team USA scrimmage against the preparation team and the USA select team. And he's right. Hero's a bubble phenom, and everywhere else is garb. So
I mean, we'll see, mate. Isn't it like his 2nd season or 3rd season, mate?
Yeah. He's got a kid now, It's probably going to be tired changing diapers and whatnot. So,
mate.
Shout out to Tatum again. Anyways, that's pretty much it for our Miami Heat free agency video. If you guys have any comments, do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think AB is an idiot for
For what, mate? Think I'm an idiot, mate? You suck.
Just in general. Or do you think Liam's an idiot for thinking they're going 50+? Let us know in the comments. And we're going to reply to every comment and maybe give us some video ideas if you want us to talk about any topics. Right. If not, we'll see you next week on NBA Mornings with the Unanimous.
Also, Sam Clips asked why Steph in the thumbnail.
Oh, so we talked about the Warriors. We talked about the Warriors
Yeah, mate.
Sam,
Maybe you
please.
should watch the video, Sam. But anyway.
Legitimate, don't dislike us. Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
it's just a general discussion. Anyways, thanks, boys.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next week. Probably at a later time next week because
Yeah.
it's still like 6 a.m.
Oh yeah.